The first step to solving this quadratic equation using the quadratic formula is to rewrite the equation in the general form. So we have 8n squared minus 4n minus 18 is equal to 0. So our next step is to plug in the values into our quadratic equation, which is right up here, our quadratic formula. We're going to find out what the values of A are. A is 8, B is -4, and C is -18. So when we substitute these values, x or n, which will end up being, is -4 plus or minus the square root of -4 squared minus 4 times 8 times -18. And that'll be over 2 times a, which is 8. So that'll give us 4, positive or negative, 16 plus 576 over 16, which will give us 4 plus or minus the square root of 592 over 16, which will be 4 positive or minus, and that will be 16 times 37 all over 16. Now, to go ahead and break that down, we're going to end up having 4 plus or minus, bringing out the 16 will give us 4 multiplied by the square root of 37 all over 16. So we're going to end up with a radical. N is equal to 4 plus 4 multiplied by the square root of 37 over 16, and then we'll have n is equal to 4 minus 4 over the square root of 37 over 16. And we can do some further reduction here. If we take out a 4, we're left with 1 plus the square root of 37. We have 16 on the bottom. That 4 will go into that, so we'll have 1 plus square root of 37 over 4. And over here, if we take a 4 out, we'll have 1 minus the square root of 37 over 16. 4 will go into the 16, and we'll have 1 minus the square root of 37 over 4. Now before we answer here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to check back into our original equation. And into our original equation was 8n squared minus 4n is equal to 18, and we're going to substitute our first value, that n is equal to 1 plus the square root of 37 over 4. So we'll have 8 times 1 plus the square root of 37 over 4 squared minus 4 times 1 plus the square root of 37 all over 4, which is equal to 18. Now, first thing we're going to do with that is I'm going to complete the operation here of the radical. So I'd have 1 plus 2, the square root of 37, plus 37, and that would be all over the 4 squared, which would be 16, minus 4, 1 plus the square root of 37 over 4 is equal to 18. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do some reductions here. So I'm going to divide 8 into the 16 will give us 2. I'm going to divide 2 into each of these, which will give us 2 over 2. And that will leave us with the lowest common denominator of 2 here. So I'm going to get rid of that by multiplying everything by 2 and doing it over here as well. So what that will leave me with is 1 plus 2, the square root of 37, plus 37, minus 2, minus 2, the square root of 37, is equal to 36. Now our radicals will cancel out, and I'll have 38 minus 2, which is indeed equal to 36. So I know for that root, that is correct. Now let's go ahead and check the second one in the original equation. So 8, 1 minus the square root of 37 over 4 squared, minus 4, 1 minus square root of 37 over 4 is equal to 18. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to have 8 multiplied by 1 minus 2 square root of 37 plus 37, and that would be over 16, minus 4, 1 minus the square root of 37 over 4 is equal to 18. The 8 goes into my 16 twice, and I'm going to reduce these by 2. So I'll have a lowest common denominator here of 2. To get rid of that, I'm going to multiply by 2 each side. So that's going to leave me with 1 minus 2 and the square root of 37 plus 37. And that's going to be minus 2 square root of 37. Sorry, that's going to be plus equal to 36. These are going to cancel. I'll have 38 minus 2 is equal to 36. And that is correct. So I can also conclude that my other root is the 1 minus the square root of 37 over 4.